F1 2020 has been out for a little while now, and it's been a good few months. We've had enough time to kind of digest the game, pick out the good things and the bad things from it, and we've had a few patches as well, and it's at this point where we can kind of assess and judge what we like about the game and what we think should be improved. So in this video here today, I'm going to be talking about 5 things I think should be improved for next year's F1 2021 game, which should be on next-gen consoles, and therefore they should have more power and more capability to improve the game even more. In this video, guys, I'm going to be focusing on my team exclusively. I might do another one of these guys talking about the game in general. You guys can leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below, so get involved. Let me know what you think of my 5 things in today's video. And guys, if you're going to enjoy this video, then smash the like button. Let's see if we can try and hit, let's say, 750 likes on this video. Let's try and see if we can hit that, and subscribe for more videos like this, and give me your thoughts and your suggestions in the comments down below. Number 1 on my list is going to be second driver perk improvement. So as you guys know, on my team you can sign a teammate, and that teammate, just like yourself, has driver perks. Now there's 4 different categories for these. Now within those, I always feel like the second driver doesn't really do anything. He doesn't really level up the perks, and if he does, it takes a long time, because I've done 3 seasons of my team now, and Ricardo, for example, who's my current teammate, only has level 1 on all 4 of his perks. Level 1 out of 3, which is nothing. So I think it could do with some improving. Mick Schumacher, who was my previous teammate, had 0 out of 3 on all 4, so literally not a single one. And I feel like these could be given a bit more importance, a bit more weight in the new game, and a bit more presence, I feel like, and it'd be nice to see the second driver get more involved with those. And there's certain categories, like for example, there's one of them which gives you more press interview answers. It would be nice to get some press extracts or some quotes from the second driver with his potential interviews in game, to kind of add to the storylines and give a bit more depth. And also, I feel like the F2 drivers especially could do with a bit more of a boost when it comes to these perks, because literally Schumacher had nothing, and that's a shame, because if you want to invest and, for example, stick with an F2 driver the entire way through, it would be nice to see an F2 driver at least get some perks, because they may not be able to level up too much. They may have like a maximum level, which is like level 80, but it doesn't mean they can't actually improve their own driver perks, which I feel like every driver should be able to max those out at some point. So I definitely think F2 drivers need a bit of an improvement in that regard. I definitely feel like that's something that could be addressed in next year's game quite easily, to give a bit more fullness to the My Team experience, in my opinion. Point number 2 is a big one for me, and I think this could be quite interesting, and I think it would add a lot more to my team, and it's going to be sponsor unpredictability. So as you guys know, on my team you can have 5 sponsors, 1 title and 4 secondary. Out of those sponsors, it would be nice to have a bit of unpredictability, in the sense that, for example, you could have sponsors randomly break contract and pull out for whatever reasons you want to think of. Maybe the company ceased to exist, or budget or funding, whatever it could be, or for a different reason, maybe they've gone with a different project. It would be cool to see unpredictability from that, so you lose a bit of your income, and that kind of stunts your progress a little bit, or throws a bit of a spanner in the works. Or for example, maybe those sponsors could change objectives. So let's say you've got a sponsor and their objective is to get 5 points per race weekend. Maybe they could adjust that based off of your results and say, okay, from now on we want 20 points per race weekend between both cars. Little things like that to kind of keep those sponsor objectives fresh. And rather than constantly renew the contracts every 70 days, give or take, there's more changes in terms of objectives, and also sponsors potentially leaving you with less funding to kind of improve the team and invest that into R&D points. So yeah, I definitely think that could be something that could be worked on in next year's game. Point number 3, I've gone for engine changes. So I've taken a page out of the real life 2020 F1 season with this one. So let's say you have a Ferrari engine, and you're, for example, Alfa Romeo or Haas. You've been pretty much put on the back foot, and you've had one leg taken away from you, and it wasn't even in your control because you have Ferrari engines. So it would be pretty cool in my team, for example. Let's say you're the best team on the grid, and you head into the winter break, you're the fastest team in F1, and then suddenly something happens for whatever reason, and the development of the Mercedes engine, which is the engine you have, has gone wrong. Something's happened over the winter and you've lost all of your engine performance. So for example, you might keep all of the upgrades that you've done in the R&D graph, but the actual upgrades that the team supplies in the little category on just before the R&D graph is like a little vertical line or a horizontal line. I'll kind of highlight this on the video right now. Those upgrades are gone, you know, because the team have lost performance over the winter. Maybe you lose a couple of upgrades. I'm not sure how you want to kind of interpret this. I think this could be done a lots of different ways, but the point is, if you have a Mercedes engine and you're just a customer team and over the winter something goes wrong with their engine and the works team, you get affected by it indirectly, like Haas and Alfa Romeo were by the Ferrari engine in 2020. I think, again, this would add an element of unpredictability, which would be pretty cool and something I'd love to see in the game. So point number 4, this is the big one for me of this video and something I've been wanting to talk about for a little while, and I think I'm going to be a little while on this topic, so bear with me here. I'm going to try and hopefully put a few visual examples of this on screen. So with the R&D points, obviously you save up points over the winter. Let's say there's a regulation change and things go into a bit of a crazy period because you've got a lot of protecting to do in terms of R&D parts. Now, in my case, in Season 3 of my team, I have a regulation change and the aerodynamics, the chassis and the durability have been affected. Now, what you can do is 2 options. Option 1 is you protect the upgrades and you know, they cost half price and you can protect them, and then you obviously keep those for next year on the car. Or you don't protect them, you just let them, you know, happen. You lose them next year. What will happen is you will lose all of your progress, but this is where the key sticking point is, in my opinion. So if you decide to not protect any upgrades, you will lose them, but when it comes to repurchasing them again, they're not full price, which is something I think that should be adjusted, because I've had times where there's been a regulation reset, or I've changed teams in career mode, for example. Literally, you change from one team to another, they've not done any protecting of parts. Because the parts now, when you repurchase them, aren't full price for some reason, it's so easy. Literally, within 10 races, you can buy all those upgrades back at half price, and you're straight back to where you were. So the effect of the whole point of the regulation change, which should be, you know, a lasting effect on F1, literally lasts about 10 races, because you can recover that in half a season. And that's a shame, because, you know, the regulation reset should pretty much put you back to square one, and it has to take time to get that department or that facility back up to the level that it should be. So in my opinion, I think that needs to be looked at, both the cost of the repurchase if you haven't protected the upgrade, and also the cost of protecting those upgrades, because for me personally, it's very easy to protect upgrades. I think it's very cheap. I think the price should be increased a little bit by like 25% in my opinion, and naturally, like all teams, if there's a regulation change, you should really feel the effects. You know, you should not be able to protect all of your parts unless you have 10,000 R&D points saved up in advance. Like, it should be something quite ridiculous, because the whole point of that is to keep the game fresh. You know, if you can recover and get your car back to where it was in 10 races, then the R&D change has done nothing, because you can literally keep on pushing forward with development, and by the end of the next season, you're quicker than what you were at the end of Season 3, for example. So there's literally no point. It needs to be looked at, in my opinion. So that's definitely something I want to make clear. Hopefully the point made sense. I'll try and put some visual examples up right now, but yeah, basically it needs to be changed, because in my opinion it's too cheap as it is right now. And then finally, point number 5, and kind of similar to point number 2, this could be quite interesting, is going to be R&D department or facility issues. So let's say, for example, you've invested $20 million or $15 million in leveling up your chassis department to level 3 on the fabrication. That upgrade could fail. Let's say that could fail, or option B, it could get delayed. So some form of unpredictability with the departments, again, to kind of, you know, make the progress be delayed a little bit. So it'd be quite cool to, for example, you say you invest a lot of hard-earned cash into the chassis department, for example, and you get a message on your inbox saying that it's been delayed a further 2 weeks. It won't cost any more money, it just means it's been delayed because it hasn't been able to be completed in time. It's important to not make this too similar to R&D points, where if something fails, you've got to repurchase it. But something different. So for example, a department has failed, the team will look for a way around it, or for example, there's been a delay, which is I think is the key feature. I think a delay to the fabrication or the build time part or whatever it may be. I think that would be quite cool in terms of getting some unpredictability with the facilities, because again that adds to the game and it adds to a bit of, I think, the general nature of F1. We've seen before teams have issues with certain departments, whether it's building a new wind tunnel and it gets delayed another year or something. Those kind of things would be quite cool to have in the game. But there we go then, guys. That is going to be my 5 points for this video here today. I'd love to hear some of your suggestions, possibly for a future video down the line, or maybe not just my team specific, just general points regarding the game. So give me your feedback, guys, in the comments down below. Give me your thoughts and opinions. If you enjoyed this video, then hit the like button, guys. It really helps me out. And subscribe for more daily F1 content on the channel and more videos like this, hopefully. Finally, check out the 2 videos on your screen right now, guys. If you haven't seen them already, I do recommend you go check those out. But guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time for another video. But until then, take care, and it's goodbye from me.